Hello, beautiful creators. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibration so you can live your best life. Wanted to talk to you today about making space. This is the time of year that we, after New Year's, want to cleanse and clear and purge and detox and get rid of all the sugar cravings from the holidays, but really, cleansing and clearing should be happening on a regular basis. It should be part of our self-maintenance regimen, right? Just like brushing our teeth and going to the gym, we need to have mental health and we need to exercise energy cleansing and clearing and making space frequently. So that's what today is all about. So if you're interested, keep on watching. So I have realized I need to tell you a little bit more about the why before I dive into all of these tips and tricks that I have for you. So today we have 13 tips on how to make space, and I wanted to share with you why those 13 tips are so important. So the body keeps the score. If we are not releasing and clearing and cleansing and emptying out and making space and letting go of things, we will keep that within us. So it's very, very important that we have a finite amount of energy, we have a finite amount of space of things that we can hold energetically as well as physically. We have a limit, right? We have a certain amount of energy, and it takes a lot of energy to maintain things that we're not letting go of. And so when we don't process and release and clear space, we become full. We can't contain anymore. And so what we're not consciously releasing ends up getting stored in the body. And in my experience of not releasing, I would probably look to my most recent toxic relationship that I had to let go of. If you watch the vlog style videos, you'll see my personal story around that. So I won't give too many details, but I was in a narcissistic abusive relationship for 7 years. And very early on, there were those signs, those intuitions about things not quite feeling right and things I chose to ignore. That I wanted that complete and whole family for my son, who was 7 at the time. I didn't want to believe that the relationship was unhealthy. I felt maybe if I blamed myself, if I fixed myself, or I helped my son get along better, that maybe the relationship would improve, and maybe it was our fault and not someone else's fault. And I wasn't releasing. I wasn't releasing and surrendering what was no longer working. And because of that, I was holding on to it, right? I wasn't letting it go. I wasn't clearing it out. I wasn't making the space for that healthy relationship. And so what that meant was I gained weight. I gained a lot of weight. And oftentimes a weight gain, it's kind of a protective mechanism where the body literally, the fat cells are drawing away toxins from the vital organs, or I should use this as more of a gesture. And through the fat cell expansion, we are pulling away those toxins from the internal organs. And at the same time, on a psychological level, we're also kind of buffering ourselves from the outside world. We're creating that layer of safety between us and what is hurting us. And also it is some symbolic of not letting go, right? We're not processing, we're not letting go of those things that are hurting us. And so we're holding on to weight, we're holding on to a burden, we're holding on to toxicity. And so that becomes evident, as within, so without, right? I also began to self-medicate, because when we're holding on to these emotions, these difficult things to process, the pain, the depression, the anxiety, we're refusing to let go of those things. We have no other way to deal with that pain. And so we will look for unresourceful ways of numbing out. And mine was the glass of wine. And that, of course, progressed into a bigger issue, right? These things take on a life of their own, losing the weight, letting go of the self-medication. I became depressed. I became angry, right? There's pain that I was not processing, pain externally from the relationship that was abusing me, but also the self-abandonment, where I was abandoning myself and not standing up for what was right. And so I was holding on to something that was hurting me and not letting that go. And so that is pain, self-inflicted, right? And again, it's all connected to just not clearing space and letting go. And I became stuck. I was trying to manifest the life of my dreams, create a business, all these things that I knew that my soul purpose was craving for, my soul was craving for, my life was built for, and yet I couldn't manifest those things in my life because I was full. I was full of things that were not serving me, and I was not letting go, and I was not clearing space and allowing. And so I'll have to talk another day about surrender and trust and faith and all those things that were part of that not letting go experience. But for today, I just wanted to give you some tips and tricks on what has worked for me in letting go of that relationship and clearing space. And it's amazing how much we can truly hold when you start to do the clearing work, because the relationship was one thing, but really what led to that relationship? What were the 30 some odd years before that like, and how much had I held on to from before that experience that led me to that place of holding on to even that negativity. And so as you start to do this clearing space and the clearing work, you start to realize how much we have to let go of and how much space there really is when we start to free up some. You realize, wow, this is so much lighter, and then you find the next layer and you release that layer, and you just keep lightening and lightening and lifting and lifting, and the vibration just gets higher and higher, and the joy increases, and life is so cool. And I'm sure you guys get tired of me hearing that, get tired of hearing me say that, so I will not beat the dead horse on the joy factor today, but it's awesome. When you let go, I promise you, it's awesome. So how do we make space? Let's make some space today. So I will say, number one, first and foremost, address things immediately, right? Because I didn't have to go down that path of 7 years of that relationship. Of course, I have two beautiful little girls that are the light of my life, and I would never undo that for anything. But at the same time, I'm sure that they would have been in my life either way, and I could have followed my intuition appropriately and dealt with that. But simple little things on the day-to-day as well, like paying your bills on time. Like as soon as they come in, write the check, get it out the door. In fact, I absolutely love Autopay. Set it up through your bank. It's sent immediately on the 15th of the month or whatever. Just set that up so that you know that as soon as something arises, you're going to take care of it, because there is space held even just on the day-to-day with little stuff like that. Piles of laundry, cleaning out the fridge, getting rid of, the rotten watermelon, which I now have to go do because I am going to embody everything that I teach you. But do the work, right? And immediately address things, immediately address the inner work as well as the external work, because as within, so without, but also the external will influence the internal. So we have to address both immediately. Sit with yourself and go within as often as possible. And this is something that is really coming up as kind of a theme, I guess, probably for 2021, or just generally, for me, more focus on the internal. That the many, many years of denying what needed to be addressed causes a disconnection from our internal world, because when we're spending all this time stuffing things down and ignoring what needs to be addressed, it becomes a habit. It becomes second nature. It becomes the go-to response for everything. And it's more than just a habit, it's a lifestyle. And so we have to break that habit of ignoring and disconnecting from our internal world. And so, if you struggle with meditation, a fun thing to do is you don't have to necessarily clear your mind of thought. It's kind of like telling somebody, don't think about the pink elephant, right? The first thing that pops into your head is going to be the pink elephant. So really what we want to do is give yourself the to do. What do I do instead of the what not to do? And so when you're in meditation, think about your heart beating, right? That's why they say focus on your breath. But for me, that was just not quite enough for my brain to think about. But if I can start with my toes and wiggle my toes and Yoga Nidra is a great guided meditation style, and that's very similar to what I'm suggesting here, but just feeling all the different body parts, feel the tingle in your legs, feel the grumble in your tummy, feel the air moving through your chest, feel the muscles on your back, right? Just connect with your body, because all of this internal stuff, right? The as within, so without, the stuff we need to address is inside of us. So we just listen to our heart, right? Play with your heart, talk to your heart, talk to your inner child. So go within as frequently as possible. Make it a daily thing, make it an hourly thing, make that the new habit, right? So we're getting away from the disconnection and the ignoring and the numbing, and coming back to our body, thanking our body for the amazing beacon that it is, capable of drawing in all of this intelligence and guidance, and listening to its guidance. And so we're not going to ignore it anymore. We're going to go within. Breath work has been amazing. I would say probably one of the biggest reasons I made this video was for breath work, because I did such an awesome breath work exercise recently. It's an hour long, which is incredible. I will link below the guy's name because I'm not remembering it right now, but he was amazing, and he offers a certification and things of that nature, so if you're looking for that. But the clearing is phenomenal, of bringing up, pardon my my kids in the background, that's awesome, bringing up everything in the body and exhaling it out, essentially. So it really starts to strengthen that clearing practice. And the breath, right? The breath of God, right? The spirit, bringing spirit into us and replacing and displacing all of the things that no longer serve us, is phenomenal through breath work. I will say instant clearing if you can do it to the depth and the length of time that this exercise brought. So look below for more information on that. Forgiving is huge. When we hold on to resentment, we hold on to past experiences, old stories, just who we were versus who we are becoming, right? We have to forgive and surrender and let go. Very common, well-known practice is Ho'oponopono. I will link that as well. So definitely check that out, because forgiveness is huge. Anybody you have not forgiven, you are holding space for in your body. And so even if you think you've forgiven someone, I highly suggest doing this exercise for anyone and everyone in your life, because oftentimes there are still things we're holding on to that we don't quite realize. Energy clearing is huge. Energy healing is also part of energy clearing. They are different. So removing and surrendering and clearing out negative energy or energy that doesn't serve us is different than healing our own energy and calling our energy back. Both are helpful. So definitely do that. And then some more of the practical, physical, 3D things. Clear your home, right? Cluttered home, cluttered mind. The more we hold on to, right, we're bringing in, and we're gonna hit a limit, and we can't bring more into our lives if we've hit our limit. So definitely clear the stuff, clear the energy, use sage techniques. I like Palo Santo. Just using the intention of clearing energy and purging when you clean your house can be phenomenal. And then use your angels and your guides, right? Call them in and use their assistance to help as you're clearing physically. Journaling is awesome for getting things out, right? Getting it out of your mind and into the book. I have mine here, so so I'm pointing there. But journal about anything that's bothering you. Journal about anything that you feel is not sitting well with you. If you're having a hard time meditating and you've got something that keeps going through your mind, write it down. Take a moment to stop and journal, and then go back to trying to meditate, because journaling gets it out, right? So we're helping to clear out space and put it on paper so that it can be processed. That makes me think of an exercise. So it's coming to me, so I'm going to share. It's called If This Then That. It's an excellent exercise. If you're struggling to get over something, you're struggling to surrender something and release something, start with a piece of paper folded in half. So you'll have two sides, right? You folded your paper, you have two sides. On the one side, you write, if I let go of this relationship, I will be alone forever. If I am alone forever, I will feel no one loves me. If I feel no one loves me, I will feel broken forever, right? Like, write down all of the fears, the if this then that, and it's about how you feel, right? So if this happens, I will feel blank. And then on the other side of the piece of paper, once you've gotten everything out, it might take 2-3 pages, which it can sometimes. Go on the other side and write the positive affirmations, right? So write the reverse of that. And this can be phenomenal for letting go of things. Once you've done that, you've filled both sides of the paper with the negative and the positive, tear that in half, take the negative side and go burn it. put it in, a planter outside, put it in your grill. If you can't, burn it, bury it, some ritualistic way of getting rid of it, right? And so get that out of your life, and that will leave only the positive and hopefully what replaces it. Boundaries are also huge. We've got to start saying no. If you didn't say no when you should have, cancel the plans later, but really keeping space, protecting space, not filling your life with other people's stuff is really, really important and facilitated through boundaries. Clearing your calendar can be huge. I just did this today. I had a big week coming up. I've got a lot to do and I had too many commitments and it was starting to make me feel overwhelmed. And so you'll notice if you get that kind of agitated anxiety, right? It's just too much pressure and the nervous system is starting to freak out. Take that as a sign that you need to love on yourself. And loving on yourself can mean being harsh with the world outside of you. And we don't necessarily have to be harsh, but we need to be stern, right? We need to say, you know what? Chiropractor's awesome. He's super, super good for me. I'm definitely going to do that, but not next week, right? Whatever else you may have, reschedule, request an extension, just make the space necessary, right? Fasting can be huge. Clear your body, clear your mind, clear your life, right? As within, this is part of the within. I don't know about you, but really dense, heavy foods sit heavy in my stomach. And I notice that I am having to deal with more, right? There's more energy expansion going towards something that was processed and not a fruit or a vegetable. So water fasting, watch my video on detoxing from sugar for any tips and tricks on just, the typical cleanse strategies that I employ. Showering is huge, again, for cleansing away and just helping you strengthen the intention of clearing and making space. Dry brushing can also be really, really important. It helps the nervous system and the lymphatic system let go of things. And so that as within, so without, right? So it's all connected. And then clearing your mind, right? That's just kind of the last gotta have. Meditation, like making space within your mind, comes from having space, right? Making space in your mind comes from just meditating on the stillness and your bodily responses and the messages that are coming from you. It helps to displace the external world and all of the noise. And so detox from social media, do a dopamine detox. This is sort of trending right now, if you will. So if you want to look something up on that, I can also link a couple things as well. So sending you lots of love, and I hope that this has been helpful for you, and happy clearing and purging. I do have resources, coaching, as well as courses and free offerings down below. So make sure you check those out, as well as like, subscribe, and share if you can. That helps me. Just remember, this is an energetic exchange. So if you can give me a like or a comment, that is much appreciated for the offering. So take care. I love you.